And I'm gonna give this, hey, sorry, my dog just snapped at the other dog. Kiki, no ma'am, no. My goodness. Anyway, for those of you who are just tuning in, this is a live cooking class. So what I do is I post the meal that we're cooking as well as the ingredients ahead of time. Gives you some time to go to the grocery store, get the ingredients that you need to take this class along with me, but in your own kitchen. So you get to be in the comfort of your own kitchen where you're used to, the utensils that you have. And then at the end of the class, you have a delicious meal, a delicious dinner for you and your family on the table. And it's kind of like a win-win for everybody. So I hope you take a class sometime with me. Like I said, you can check out our Facebook page, Cook With Me TV, for all of the ingredients. All of these classes will be posted as events, so that's where you'll see all of the information there. And a few tips of some people have been cooking with me and I've gotten some feedback from them. So some things that will make it easier for you to do are to cook with 2 people. So using a partner in the kitchen makes this class much more enjoyable because one person can be doing some of the cooking while the other person maybe is manning the computer or the phone and like asking questions or making comments or something like that. And then you guys can switch, of course, but it's just a little bit easier and more manageable with 2 people in the kitchen. Also, having a partner in the kitchen is good because then 2 people are learning how to cook, right? I know that a lot of the people that I work with in my private practice, there's usually just one person who's sort of like the dedicated cook of the house, which that works well in many cases, but I think it's always helpful to have 2 people who know a little bit of cooking so that you guys can help each other out. Just makes things a little bit easier. Hello, Mother. Good to see you. Hey, Keith. Thanks so much for joining. Good to see you. Hey, friend. Doing well. Just living our best lives. I bet you are. That's exciting. Hi, Anna. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. So what we're going to do is cook shakshuka. Do you know what shakshuka is? Have you ever heard of it before? We have cooked it before on the show. What it is a dish that originated in Africa, where they just used very basic ingredients like onions and tomatoes to kind of cook sort of like a stew. And then what they would do is crack eggs into that tomato stew and let the eggs cook. You can let them cook for as long or as little time as you want, depending on how you like your yolk. Do you like your yolk runny? Then you wouldn't cook it as long. If you really like a fully cooked yolk, then just cook until those eggs are fully cooked. And then along with that, you could use like bread to kind of soak up all the wonderful juices in the tomatoes. But tonight we're doing a little bit of a spin on it and adding a little Mexican flair. So instead of this being primarily a red dish, it's going to be a green dish. So instead of tomatoes, we're going to use lots of greens. So I've got some baby spinach and then some other kind of blend here. We're going to cook these down in veggie stock instead of tomatoes. We're also going to use some garlic and onion in there, some aromatics and some other nutritious ingredients. And then with that, we're going to crack the eggs into that mixture, let them cook. And then we're going to toast up some corn tortillas and put all of that lovely egg and green mess, if you will, on top of the corn tortillas, and then put taco toppings on top. So whatever you want to do. Cheese, I've got cheese, lime, avocado, cilantro, hot sauce, of course, you could do salsa, whatever you like. So this is a really easy dish. It only uses 1 pan. This is the pan I'm going to be using tonight. So if you are cooking with me, go ahead and get out your largest saucepan that you might have. Hey, Diane, good to see you. Thanks for joining. And let's get to cooking, shall we? So the first thing that we're going to do is, actually, give me 1 second. If you are cooking with me, go ahead and chop up your onion and your garlic. I'm just going to use half of this onion. You want to use 1 small yellow onion or any color onion, and a few cloves of garlic, 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. So go ahead and chop those up. I just noticed that my microphone is running out of battery, so I'm going to put these in real quick. All right, back at you. So I'm gonna join you and get to chop in. Like I said, I'm gonna use half of this onion here. Hey, Kimberly. I know, it sounds good, doesn't it? Very excited. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for joining. Okay, so we're gonna wanna peel that outer layer off the onion. If you are cooking with me, you're likely ahead of me at this point. But I like to just first cut my onion piece in half. And you can really cut this into whatever size shape you want. The smaller, the better in this particular recipe. So what I'm gonna do is maybe a small chop or a dice would be good. So I'm just gonna make some slices here and then come back through and run my knife through the onion. If you have a chef's knife similar to this, and you're still not very experienced or confident with using a knife in the kitchen, one thing that I like to recommend is to use what's called a rocking motion with your knife when you're cutting or chopping. So basically what that means is you leave the tip of the knife on your cutting board and you just lift up the back end of it and come through and chop everything else. So it makes you feel like your knife is a little bit more stable on that cutting board. Easier to speed up or slow down the speed as well. Ooh, okay, now that I'm crying here. Hi, Miriam. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Okay, garlic. Like I said, I'm gonna do 3 to 4 cloves here. And you know my style. I like to smush the clove to release the outer skin, like that. And then we'll just dice up the garlic, just like we did the onion. If you're ahead of me and you want to get things moving, go ahead and put some olive oil in your pan and heat it up. So turn your pan on to about a medium or a medium-high heat. Has anybody made shakshuka before? Let me know. It's so good and it's so easy and doesn't take a lot of time. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put some olive oil in my pan and turn the heat on here. And then we'll just throw the onions and garlic right in. We're just gonna cook them long enough to soften them. Just be careful because your garlic will burn if you're not going to stir it frequently if you're putting it in this soon. I usually like to add the garlic a little bit later in the cooking process. Sometimes I'll add it, at the same time. I don't really have any hard and fast rules with that, except no burnt garlic. You don't want any burnt garlic because that just doesn't taste good. We can start to season this right now, so go ahead and sprinkle in a little bit of salt and pepper. I like to season vegetables all along the way. Salt helps to enhance the flavor of your vegetables, so don't be afraid to use it. Kimberly said she's never heard of it. Diane says, be brave, more garlic. Ooh, I like your style. Hey, June, good to see you. Thanks for joining. So Kimberly, to answer, or you said you've never heard of shakshuka. I was saying earlier that it's a dish that originated in Africa, and it was actually considered peasant food because they were using ingredients that were very affordable and accessible to them. So tomatoes were one of them, onions, and I believe peppers was another one that I forgot to mention earlier. So anyway, they would kind of cook it up sort of like a stew, not like a ton of liquid, but cook those all up in a pan and then crack eggs in the pan over the tomatoes, put a lid on it, and then let the eggs cook in that sauce. Really, really good. So we're kind of recreating that here tonight, but we're using slightly different ingredients. So instead of tomatoes, we're going to use a bunch of greens and chicken stock and put it over corn tortillas. I'm gonna let that cook for just another minute, and then we'll go ahead and throw the greens in. Hey, Ashley, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Okay. Yes, can't go wrong with those ingredients. Totally agree. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the greens as well as the chicken stock. So if you're cooking with me and your onions and garlic are looking pretty translucent, they're softening up, you can smell them. You can really smell the onions once you pop them in the pan. We're gonna do a whole bag of spinach here. I know this seems crazy, but this stuff will cook down a lot. And so I'm actually gonna throw in another bit of these greens. When you're doing this dish, try to, if you can, like if you have access or you've got the option to add some variety to your greens. Variety is always a good thing. So spinach and then maybe some kale as well would be good. This is a cool blend. It's got baby spinach, mizuna, chard, and kale. I'm just gonna add maybe half of this guy. And then we'll go ahead and add our stock as well. I'm not gonna add too much stock. I'm gonna start with like a cup. And this is vegetable stock. You could use chicken stock, beef stock, whatever you want. So this recipe, actually, I found this recipe on, I think it was Bon Appetit, and I cooked it like a couple weeks ago. And instead of using stock, they actually used milk and like heavy cream. And so I followed the recipe and it was really good, but I couldn't really tell that I had used milk and cream. So I just decided to switch it out and use stock instead of milk. Nutritionally speaking, if you're interested, calcium can inhibit with the absorption of iron. So there's lots and lots of iron in these dark leafy greens, but the calcium in the milk would not really allow your body to absorb as much iron as it possibly could. So just a little food for thought there, especially for the women out there who might be frequently low in iron. It is a problem for many of us. Pour a little bit more in here. So I'm gonna do about 1.5 cups here. We're gonna let this simmer. I'm gonna add just another pinch of salt. And once these greens are a little bit more wilted, we'll go ahead and pop the eggs in. This is amazing, love it so much. Now I have to know what you're cooking next and where I get the recipe so I can join. Yay! Okay, so next week I am cooking falafel. We're actually taking like a little shortcut, and I'll give you a sneak peek of how we're taking a shortcut. If I have it up here, which I guess I don't have it up here. Hang on. Okay, never mind. It's not up here. I think it's down in the basement. But anyway, there is boxed falafel mix, which is actually a pretty healthy mix. Not a lot of ingredients or added like preservatives or anything like that. and I'll post the brand on there. You can usually find it at every grocery store. It's in like the ethnic aisle of the grocery store. So we're gonna do falafel bowls. So that means falafel, couscous, some veggies on there, a little bit of tzatziki sauce. So it's gonna be Mediterranean inspired. You can find the ingredients list on our Facebook page. So this Cook With Me TV Facebook page, it'll be posted as an event, and I'll probably post it tomorrow. So you'll get your ingredient list there. Take the week to go grocery shopping, or next weekend, and then next Sunday, tune in. So that is where you can get the recipe. And then the following week, we're doing pumpkin mac and cheese, which I'm really excited about. I know it sounds a little strange, but just trying to take advantage of, you know, fall and pumpkin, everything. It's really, really good. All right, these greens are looking delicious. You know what? I'm gonna add the rest. I'm gonna add the rest of these greens. Why not? I'm gonna have a bunch of leftovers tonight, which is perfect because having, you know, another dinner during the week, or maybe lunch leftovers for tomorrow, you don't have to think about a different meal. You've already got something healthy that's made and ready to go. So I'm gonna add the rest of this spinach in. If your spinach is already wilted and looking nice, go ahead and crack your eggs in. You do want to have still a little bit of liquid at the bottom. So if you can see it here, I still have some liquid in the bottom there. You still want some liquid. So if you feel like yours has evaporated or your greens have maybe soaked some up, go ahead and add a little bit more in there. Okay. And then to crack your eggs in, you can make like a little well with your spoon coming through, so they have a little place to nestle in there. You can cook as many eggs as you think you're going to eat tonight, or if you've got leftovers. I also like to season my eggs with just a little bit of salt. I know it seems like I'm using a ton of salt tonight, but I'm really not. I'm just using like a little pinch here and there. You can really fit, you know, as many eggs in here as you could do like a whole dozen if you wanted to. I've just about done a dozen, huh? Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. That was a fail. I cracked that egg. Okay, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 eggs. I think that's good. I'll leave it like that. I'm gonna give my hands a quick rinse. And then, like I said, we'll sprinkle the eggs with a little bit of salt. And you can see the whites are starting to set up already. So that's good. Like I said, this doesn't take very long. You don't want your heat might be a little too high if everything is like boiling or simmering. So you can see on this side, it's starting to like simmer a little too vigorously for my liking. I don't want to cook the eggs too fast, so I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit. Got a piece of eggshell in there. Okay, and then we will put a lid on it and let it do its thing. Should take like 5 minutes maybe. Okay. Yay, the pumpkin mac. Oh, you'll be out of town for falafel bowls. Okay, well, all of the videos are available for replay, so you could take the class at a later time, but doing it live is way more fun. So I'm excited to see you here for the pumpkin mac and cheese. Very exciting. Okay, so now, like, while your eggs are cooking, you have an opportunity to get a few more things done. Of course, this, like, you know, that helps get the meal moving at a faster rate. So if you've got avocado, you can go ahead and chop some of that up. This avocado is not terribly ripe right now, but I'm gonna give it a go. It is pretty, but not necessarily. Oh, actually, it feels pretty good. Wonderful. So I'll just do some cross cuts in here, and I'll use a spoon to scoop it out over my tortilla when it's ready. So that guy is ready to spoon out. And then, like I said, you can do salsa. I'm doing hot sauce. This is my favorite hot sauce. A little bit of lime and cilantro, or maybe even just some fresh tomatoes or fresh onion. So we've got that. And then last but not least, if you have a gas stove, you should totally crisp up your corn tortillas over an open fire. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. I love this trick. This is like a total restaurant trick. So I'm going to turn my burner on here to a medium heat. I don't need like super high, crazy flames going on. And what you do is you take your corn tortillas and lay them over. Tongs work really well in this situation. And they really work well in a lot of areas of the kitchen. So if you don't have tongs, go get some tongs. They're pretty cheap. And so you can see you get a little bit of char on the bottom there. So all you do is just turn them over. Oh, this is my favorite thing to do. It's so fun. Hey, Janet. Well, I'm glad you joined us. So good to see you. How's it going? How's the weather there? It's been hot here. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for that 60-degree weather. Anybody else? Whoop. So if you can see, you got get a little char on it. It crisps it up. Oh, it's so good. And we can check on our eggs. Oh yeah, that is looking good. I'm just gonna you know what? That's actually done in my book. I like a runny yolk. So I'm gonna turn the heat off. Got our corn tortillas that are almost done. And we can start putting everything together. Hey, Michelle. Yes, come on, fall. Yay, thanks for joining. Good to see you. Ready for cooler temps. I think we're all ready for cooler temps. Diane, if you have a minute, could you review what to expect if seeking a nutritionist? Ooh, great question. So are you asking like what to expect in meeting with a dietitian, or how to like find the right dietitian for you? Which I guess I could just answer both of them, because every dietitian works a little bit. Oh shoot, hold on. let me answer that question in a second, because clearly I just think that I can multitask all day long, even though life proves me wrong every time I try. I just do it anyway. Okay, I'm gonna grab a bigger plate because this meal can be quite messy. Wonderful. Okay, so we've got our corn tortillas. Let's dish this out. I'm gonna grab a spoon here. I'm just gonna scoop all of this. Get some onions on there, some garlic. And if you don't want all of the juice, if you don't want your taco to get soggy, then just drain that off. Oh, my goodness. Okay, this could be a breakfast meal if you wanted it to be. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining. Hey, Evan and Casey. So this is what we've got so far. We've got our corn tortillas with our greens that have been cooked with some onions and garlic and veggie stock. Got our eggs there on top. Oop, we just spilled all that juice everywhere. And now is the fun part. So cheese. This is cotija cheese. This is a cheese that they use a lot in Mexican restaurants. It goes swimmingly with this dish. But you can use any cheese that you want if you can't find cotija. You could do just regular cheddar. You could do feta even if you wanted to. It wouldn't be terribly Mexican, but it's not a big deal. Okay, I like the cotija because it crumbles up nicely. Do a little bit of cilantro. Sorry, Diane, I swear, I guess I really do cook with a lot of cilantro. Diane is not a fan of cilantro. She's one of the people where it tastes like soap to her. She's just not a fan. Some cilantro. We've got some avocado on here. Oh my goodness. This looks so good. Could do a little fresh onion, a little fresh tomato. I'm gonna go ahead and put my hot sauce on. Beautiful. Look at, so good. So good. Oh, Drew also thinks it tastes like soap. That's so funny. It's got that gene. Diane, I fell offline and missed your response. So I didn't actually have a chance to respond because I started to respond and then my tortilla was burning. So I stopped. So Diane's question was, review what to expect if seeking a nutritionist. So the first thing is to know exactly what it is that you want to get out of the meeting with this dietitian or nutritionist. Is it a medical condition that you're trying to manage? Are you just looking to eat healthier? Do you want to improve your relationship with food? Maybe you're someone who's like dieted for many, many years and you're just tired of following diets and you want to just make peace with food and just start to eat a little bit healthier and really not look at food as the bad guy. Just look at it as like a neutral thing. You want to stop obsessing about it and thinking about it every single day. So the first thing is to really figure out what it is that you want to see a dietitian for, and then be very clear about that with the dietitian that you reach out to, just so that you both are on the same page and everyone's expectations are out in the open. Another thing to consider is, are you looking to pay out of pocket or do you need someone to cover insurance? Not every dietitian will accept insurance, but a lot of them do. So ask that question as well. And then usually, most dietitians, especially in private practice, will give you like a free 10-minute consult or something like that for you to ask those questions, for you to see if you two are a good fit to work together. And then once you do start working with a dietitian, everyone's a little bit different. So, I can't really say what it would be like to work with any dietitian, but I do know, like for myself and for a lot of other dietitians that I do know, what they'll do is want to do a basic nutrition assessment on you. So ask you questions like, what's your past medical history look like? What does your diet history look like? Are you taking any medications? Do you have any pre-existing medical conditions? What kinds of foods do you enjoy eating? Do you have any food intolerances or allergies? So some things like that for us to get a better picture of your current health status. And then, of course, your goals. What are your goals to get out of this? And in my opinion, most dietitians that I know will, if you see them one time, it's probably not going to be very beneficial. You really do have to work with them one-on-one over a longer period of time to make the changes that you really want to make, because behavior change just doesn't happen overnight, right? So it just takes some time, and meeting with a dietitian for 3 months or however long it takes you to really make some changes is beneficial, because every time you go up, you can discuss what worked, what didn't, what you can tweak next time to make it better. So it's a constant process of reevaluation of how you're doing and maybe coming up with some ideas of what we can do a little bit differently to help you. So I hope that was a good answer. Let me know if you have any other questions. Happy to answer them. Hey, Silas, good to see you. How do you like? Did he get to see a picture of these? I'm going to give everyone a top-down view. Oh, thank you, Janet. It's very exciting. Very exciting. So here we go. And these are best eaten with a fork. Not really pick them up and eat them like a taco. Just a little forewarning there. Okay. I'm going to take a quick bite so I can tell you if they're good or not. It's probably going to be super hot right now too, though. So good. So good. Oh, it's delicious. Y'all try this. Let me know how you like it. Don't forget to doctor it up with all of your favorite taco toppings. That's what really makes it good. Also, you might not know where to start to look for a dietitian. Diane, sorry, just one last thing. The best place to start is, if you're looking for a dietitian who accepts insurance, is to call your insurance company and ask them what dietitians are in network. So that's a place to start. If you don't, jive with that dietitian, or maybe that dietitian isn't accepting new patients, you could do a Google search to see what other private practice dietitians are in your area. Or if you have a very specific medical condition and you want to work with a dietitian who has expertise on that particular area, that's what she does, that's what she specializes in. You can find a listing of dietitians and their specialties on our Academy's website. So if you go to eatright.org, there's a Find a Dietitian button on there, and you can find a dietitian who specializes in that area. It might not be local, but you could do virtual sessions. Okay, it's 7:01. This is perfect. It was under 30 minutes. Very easy, delicious, satisfying meal. Okay, thanks y'all. Again, you can find our schedule on our Facebook page. Come back next Sunday. I'm going to be cooking up falafel bowls, and I hope you join us. So have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Have an even better week, and I'll see y'all next Sunday. Bye.